Brian Flores, who is now the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, who was fired this offseason, he is now suing the NFL. I think he's suing the Giants. I think he's suing the Dolphins, pretty much for their practice and their treatment and their handling of his firing and head coaching candidacy. For the Giants, he had an interview with the Giants 3 days before he received the accidental text from Bill Belichick, pretty much saying, "Congratulations, I heard you got the job. Shouts out to you, right, man?" However, Bill Belichick texted Brian Flores. He was supposed to text Brian Daboll, who is formerly the offensive coordinator for the Bills. Now he's the head coach for the Giants, which is humiliating, bro. Like, if somebody texts me, "Hey, yo, Jay, I heard that you're going to be the next anchor for SportsCenter. Man, I'm happy for you, man. You deserve it." And instead of it being Jalen Hunter, it's Jalen Brown. Oh man, I'd be hurt. Rightfully so. Like Brian Flores, I'd be embarrassed. I'd be humiliated, because it's just like, you got me to this point, and you just, never mind, not you. But here's one of the reasons, because the definition of insanity will come up a lot in this episode. But in this instance, I don't know if people notice, but it seems like we have a conversation about black coaches, or the lack of black coaches in sports. We talk about the lack of black coaches and the lack of black representation in the NFL. We talk about the Rooney Rule. We talk about that damn near every year. Hell, I think it was a year or two ago. In fact, I named an episode. You can search or whatever. I named the episode "The Rooney Rule is Broken," I believe. Because it is. And it's not broken because it's not a good rule. First of all, it's sad that it has to be a rule. You're telling me that you have the reason why there's legislation, or the reason why there's laws, is because people have to be told what to do. The reason why there's racial or equality resignation or whatever is it, resignation, you know what I mean? The rules and stuff in the law. The reason why there's stuff for equality is because there are people that, if there was not legislation, I can't say it, so I'm going to butcher it every time. Legislation, if there was not legislation about racial equality, racism, people would still treat other people lesser than because of their race, and it would not be a problem. That's the reason why we have legislation. That's the reason why we have rules. Hell, you don't have a little kid. There's a little kid. You have to give a little kid rules, because he or she is gonna just do anything, because they have no borders. They have no parameters. They have no guidance of what they're supposed to do, i.e. rules. The reason why the Rooney Rule was originally created was because it was proven and it was clear that there was a lack of African American representation, either in the head GM, head coaching. There was a lack of black presence, and owners did not feel the need to even interview black coaches or black candidates for coaching positions, for GM positions. So, because there was a point where there was absolutely no black representation as far as coaching or GMs, they had to step in and say, "Hey, yo, this ain't right. This ain't right. We're going to do the Rooney Rule," which means you have to, under NFL rules, you have to interview, keyword, interview, an African American candidate, at least one. The two keywords is interview and at least one. Well, that's 3 words, but you know what I'm saying. Let's go to the Giants real quick. Now, yes, the Giants do have I think, African American GM. But did you know that the Giants never once had a black head coach? Oh, but they abide by the Rooney Rule, and they interview at least one black head coach. Get it? Hear that? Interview at least one black coach. Yet and still, they have never had a black head coach. In fact, let's look at the totality of the league right now. We talked about this a couple episodes ago, but just look. There is one, absolutely one, African American head coach in the NFL. And that is Mike Tomlin, who, when I tell you, a man has never struck gold on his first try, there's one, and that is Mike Tomlin. Black people do not get the same authority, are not awarded the same privileges that Mike Tomlin was awarded going to the Pittsburgh job. And that's nothing against Mike Tomlin. I commend that man. But not everyone clearly gets the same opportunity. And you know what's even worse about this whole situation? Is you can tell. I mean, Brian Flores, he did like a media tour or media run. I know he was in ESPN. I think he was in CBS. Like he talked to people, and of course he talked about the Giants and the whole Bill Belichick text. He talked about the Dolphins, the owner offering him like $100,000 every loss to lose a game, which is also crazy. And it's not crazy for the fact, one, that's against practice, that's against the law, and if that has been if that is proven and found out to be true, the owner has to leave, bro, because that tarnishes the integrity of the game of football. But another reason why it's crazy is because black African Americans do not get the same do not get awarded the same privileges as whites. That's just clear as day. Hell, we get a month. Happy Black History Month, by the way. We get a month that were actually recognized. A month. And what's funny about this month, which I completely forgot, is it kind of coincides with the whole Chinese New Year's. So all I've been hearing is Happy Chinese New Year. Now, of course, a lot of people have said Black History Month, but people have been talking about this. About this Chinese New Year's over Black History Month, like the Year of the Tiger. Like who? But we get a month. Black people get a month. America is birthed off the backs of African Americans, yet we get a month, the shortest month at that, and it was a week. Now, if that lady on social media was right, it was a week, it moved to a month. But and I say the definition of insanity. Let's go back to that statement. The definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, the same way, expecting a different outcome. You know the biggest reason why I say the Rooney Rule is a joke? The Rooney Rule it's not a joke because it's a bad rule. It's a joke because it's a rule that's easily subverted. If I'm a billionaire, And that's what all these owners are billionaires. There's no way that you can tell me, the billionaire, A, how to spend my money, and B, who to hire for my organization. These NFL teams are organizations, clearly, because it says the Broncos organization, the Rams organization, like they're organizations. And if I own it, you can't tell me who to hire, because I can always put it under the veil of he was the best person for the job. Or we felt he was the best person for said job. It doesn't matter. I can interview 150 black coaches. But in my head, I still got that one white coach over there. Just sit tight. We're doing what we have to do. We're doing our obligations. But once our obligations are settled, i.e., interview at least one African American candidate for the head coaching position. I'm going to interview all these people, but hey, Jimmy, Brian Dayball, just sit tight. Sit tight. I got you. And don't get me wrong. There's still a couple head coaching jobs or vacancies out there. The Texans is still out there, I believe. The Saints, and of course we heard Eric Bieniemy could be going with the Saints, but even still, a black coach could be hired. Hell, Brian Flores could be hired. I doubt it, but Brian Flores could be hired. But does that change the fact that this system is not? I'm not even gonna say it's broken, because that's disrespectful to the system. The system is working exactly how it was told to be worked. Interview at least one African American candidate. Interview. It didn't say hire. It says interview.